Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here from our remote studio, not in the garden level at the Holman house. We moved upstairs and geez, it's a whole new world. But we are very fortunate right now to run down to the Detroit area and talk with President and CEO Doug Rothwell from Business Leaders for Michigan. And Doug, it is always good to have you on. And, you know, even COVID-19 has affected this kind of communication. I don't think I've talked to you in a number of months.
I think it may have been actually at the Mackinac conference last year.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like I think we're kind of celebrating the anniversary of that conference remotely here.
I'd like to think of it more as a coming out party here, a COVID-19 coming out party.
Yes.
Hey, let's. First thing I got to get to right now. I've known you. I was trying to recount, but I think it's probably since 1990 that we've known each other, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And you are talking about retirement. Actually, have announced it.
Yep. Not talking about it, Chris. I'm doing it.
But let's talk about that. I have known you too long to know that you're ready to, you know, paint or fish or whatever. Tell me what's going on. I know you're retiring.
Yeah, no, look, it just feels like to me that, I've been in Michigan, it's about 27 years or so, Chris. I came in 93 and, I've worked now this is my fourth governor that I'm on. And it just feels like at some point, you kind of take it as far as you think you should. And so I'll be 64 when I retire, still young enough to be able to, do some things. I'm not looking for a job. I don't want a job, but I am retiring to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is where I met my wife, where I went to school. It's a nice place to be in terms of temperature, very temperate climate. And I'm going to work with the university on some projects around entrepreneurship and economic development. I'm on a couple of boards down there. I'm still on a board back in Michigan. I'm on the ITC board, the big transmission company. So I'll still get back and forth to Michigan. But this is a good, I want to enjoy life, Chris, while I'm still healthy enough to do it. So that's the deal.
Well, you maintain your health very well, as a matter of fact. So you got a lot of years ahead of you. Don't think that they don't have communication down there. So we're going to be bothering you periodically.
All right, I got it.
Hey, before you exit here, let's get a little status report on business. I know at Michigan Business Network we do a lot of surveying, and our Future Business Index came out about 2 months ago. What are you hearing from Michigan business leaders and your constituents?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's glad to get back to work, but I mean, back to work is not going to be what it was before. And I think most people are feeling like this is going to be a kind of a W-shaped recovery, Chris, where, we're going to get back to work here. There's going to be a nice an increase, but then who knows if we're going to have a second wave of the virus in the fall. We don't know whether, if kids are going to go to college campuses, but then have to go back home again. So, I mean, I think until there's a vaccine, people are feeling like this recovery is not going to be complete. And that could take a year or more.
Yeah. We found about 60% of businesses were feeling that they will get back eventually to where they were. Now, these are small businesses, right? So little different perspective on that. But when you're gearing up a large business, gearing it down takes longer. It's a little more like turning a battleship in a harbor.
It's all relative, Chris, right? I mean, the losses are bigger, the gains are bigger, but it's the same situation. So I agree with you. And I think that we just don't know. I mean, that's really the difficulty with this situation is we just don't know what the future brings. And that, as you know, with business, uncertainty is their greatest enemy. And we got a lot of uncertainty right now.
Boy, that's a fact. So let's talk a little bit about your recent involvement in a roundtable. Tell me what that was and what came out of that.
Yeah, so we're basically, really trying to figure out how we get back to work in a constructive way. And we've done basically two things. One is working to try to make sure that the protocols that businesses use when they go back to work mitigates the need to have to send people home again. So, whether that's cleaning, travel protocols, all those kind of things that, businesses never had a playbook really to work from before. So we did a lot of work standing that up. And then the other is really around getting the Michigan economy back on track. And so we've promulgated an overall economic recovery plan, as well as some budget principles that we think will help. And so far, the state seems to be following a lot of those. So we're very encouraged.
Well, let's talk a little bit now about succession, because guys like you always have a plan, even on your way out the door, right?
Well, we'll see. We've got a national search firm that's doing the work. That'll go through probably the fall. And my guess is, Chris, they will name a successor, sometime, I think the plan is around November-ish, so that there's a little bit of an overlap, because my goal will be to leave by January 1st.
Well, it's amazing. You go through these. I remember when I was young, there was a book written called Passages, and it was these different stages in your life that you move through. And this is certainly one for you, but because of that, it's one for me. I hate the thoughts of not roasting Doug Rothwell from bed some morning over noon.
Well, Chris, it's been terrific working with you for all these many years. And as you said, we're not, saying goodbye here. We'll be able to connect whenever we need to or want to. But it's you've done a tremendous job for Michigan, and I want to congratulate you for all the work you've done.
Well, you've been a big part of it. We're just a conglomeration of people trying to do good for Michigan, and I think that keeps us all going at different times. Doug, I want to wish you the very best and tell you that I'm glad to add you to the list of people that I'll go bunk with, for dinner, just visiting, because Chapel Hill is a great area to do it.
Anytime you want to come, partner, come on down.
I appreciate that. Doug Rothwell, CEO and President of Business Leaders for Michigan. Doug, thanks for spending time with us.
You bet. Thanks,
Good
Chris.
to see you, buddy.
You
All
bet.
right. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more.